What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today I've got a new video. This is our Dawn of Majesty full set recap. This is kind of just like telling you everything you need to know about Dawn of Majesty. This set is coming out in just over 2 weeks. Yeah, I guess just over 2 weeks from now. We are getting like the rest of the reviews at the end of the week. So pretty much if you are somebody who like doesn't keep super close track of what cards we're getting and when, this recap will show you exactly what's coming in Dawn of Majesty. So if it is something you're interested in, this video will be simple, quick, easy for you to watch, see if there's anything that you're like, ooh, and then you'll know headed into the next 2.5 weeks what you need to keep an eye on so you can get it early and you know, have what you want to have. So very, very cool. But like I said, we have the first 80 cards for the set revealed. We'll get the last 20 or 19 technically at the end of this week, so Friday, but I'll be making a review video on all of those cards most likely, and yeah, then that's a whole separate thing. You can factor that into whether or not you want to get stuff from this set. But without further ado, I'm going to start zooming because there's a ton of stuff to get through. Let's start off with the biggest part of the set, which is always the brand new archetype. So first off, we have Despia or Despian. It's a cool fusion archetype. It seems to have generics fusion synergy with other stuff. We'll see what that ends up working with. Could be Shadal's, could be other stuff, but it is also the next adventure in the line of the Fallen of Albaz lore. So keep an eye on that if you're a big fan of that stuff. This archetype will be really cool, and it gets some nice support in the next core set, Burst of Destiny, as well. We also get Majesty here. This is a cool archetype based around one main deck vanilla monster, but it's actually a combo deck that has some pretty cool pieces. This will be really cool to pick up now because like the really good cards for this archetype come in the next set, and then this deck can actually do some cool things. But it's really cool. It takes advantage of fusion monsters, synchro monsters, exceed monsters, ritual monsters. It does everything under the sun that way, and it can actually build some decent boards after the next set. Really cool. Next up, we have Rice. We have the Sue ships here. This one's kind of like a meme archetype. I don't think it does a ton in terms of like competitive play. Like it's not really doing anything too powerfully, but it's a really cool aesthetic. And if you think it's like fun and gimmicky, feel free to pick it up. This one is definitely just a big fat meme. And the last archetype we're getting that's new for this set is Bee Troopers. Now this is the only card we've had revealed for them. It's not a bad card by any means, but keep in mind, this is the only one revealed. The other ones are getting revealed later this week on Friday, like I mentioned earlier. So cool. Those are your 4 new archetypes. Not bad. Not great. I don't think anything's like meta changing out the gate, and maybe Despia has a chance later on. Majesty could be a decent combo deck later as well. And then these two are, we'll see what happens with Bee Trooper, but Sue Ship's definitely not. So then we're going to move to some support, okay? We get to this. This is like the cover card, Shooting Majestic Star Dragon. This is Stardust support for Yusei's deck. Very cool, but I don't think this is like breaking the meta by any means, right? It's just cool. It's cool to see if you're a fan of that stuff and you want to rebuild some of Yusei's old cards. Feel free. They're definitely better than before, but they're still not meta by any means. We also get like 5 new Gizmet cards here. Very cool. They're trying to really flesh it out as like a full-on archetype. I don't know how well it works. Maybe they'll work in like a Gren Maju-esque deck. Like we already see some Gizmet cards played in stuff like that. Maybe they'll have a place in a version like that. But other than that, just cool if you like that, like just the Gizmet style, just to get more of them. It's pretty cool. Next up we have Chronomaly. I think there's like 2 main deck monsters, an Exceed, a Spell, and a Trap. Pretty good amount of support for Chronomalies of all things. Also, this guy's a completely generic rank 5. That's just a monster negate. That's also not too shabby. But yeah, pretty cool. I mean, it's Chronomalies. I don't really know what else to say there. We do get a couple of alien cards. I think there is a main deck alien card that's pretty nice. And then Cosmic Pincers Allure. He's kind of a win condition. He kind of reminds me of the Buster Blader Fusion in that he's like kind of like a full field like skill drain kind of card. Which is not half bad. Yeah, it's kind of a cool win condition. We'll see if it has any application as far as stuff like we're getting the new Reptilian cards. We're getting the new, or not the new, but we have the Ogdoadic cards, right? So maybe there's something there. I don't know, but that seems pretty cool. 3 new Digesto cards as well, I believe. So a main deck tuner, a new synchro, and a new spell. All pretty decent. I think Konami just saw that this actually performed pretty well at the structure deck vote and just said, hey, people like it. Let's give them more. Very cool. Amazement. We get a new main deck monster. Summon itself from hand and helps you filter into a new Amazement trap, as well as another Amazement trap that's okay, but not great. I still want one more great Amazement trap, but it's not here yet. Whatever. This guy, another mystical beast. There's a couple of them already out there, but this guy's actually not bad. If he's like normal or special summoned and he has a weird way to special summon himself, he can add a mystical beast to the forest monster from deck to hand. Fine, like it's nothing crazy. This one's actually interesting, right? A new live twin card. This card essentially searches you any live twin monster, but it's continuous, and while it's on the field, while you control an evil twin, anytime your opponent normal or special summons, you gain 200 life points and they lose 200. So this can definitely stack up very, very quickly and get you a nice edge in the duel, while also just being a Rhoda card for your deck. Pretty nasty. Grand Sulfur Chord, Musicaea, Musacia, I think is how that's pronounced. It's cool. It's nice that Sulfur cards are getting a new support card. I will say that this card's actually fairly generic for Pendulum decks, which is nice, but it's just nice that Sulfur cards are getting a support card here. They definitely need it. Triamid loading, it's Triamid, but all things considered, this is actually a pretty good card for Triamids. I will say that. Dimer Synthesis, this is a Chemicritter support card. Again, more casual, but still cool. We haven't got Chemicritter stuff in so long. And the last support card I'll mention here is Springin's Interluder. It's a nice trap card for them. It negates an activation of a card by returning a Springin's Exceed from that you control back to the extra deck. Not too bad. It's really not. Gives them extra disruption, which they definitely need the help. Then we finish up with the generic cards. So that was all the new archetypes and the support, whether it's multiple cards of support or just one. I wanted to mention it because if you're just a big fan of, whatever, you know what I mean? If you're just a huge Triamid fan, I want to mention that out for you. But yeah, for generic stuff, starting off with the Zhangshan, Swordmaster of the Illusory Iris. This card's actually pretty cool. If there's any monster on the field with its effects negated, she can jump out of the hand. Whether your opponent's negating their own effects with something like Hauki Fibrax summoning a monster with this effects negated, this can just jump out of the hand, and then it gains an additional effect depending on where your opponent wants to summon from that point. And it can actually be a hell of a card, a hell of a juggernaut, getting you insane value as the duel goes on. So definitely probably the chase card of the set, I would probably say. Another big one's going to be Wolf Freyet, the Stellar Wind Wolf. It's a Synchro 9, completely generic, and it gives you the ability to shuffle all monsters your opponent controls into the deck. If you can get his attack over 4,000, and he gains 300 attack after every monster effect is resolved. So very, very cool. You just want to summon him, activate a bunch of monster effects, get him over 4,000, and then he is just a walking, non-targeting shuffle all monsters in your opponent controls back to the deck. Pretty good. Retort Fusion. This is the next instant fusion card. Pay 1,000 to summon a level 6 or lower non-effect fusion monster from extra deck, but it can't attack and it's destroyed during the end phase. It's actually pretty good. I mean, it's just another good extender that you can put next instant fusion. Doesn't have you can't make use of any crazy effects or anything, but as an extender, that could be pretty damn good. Parent the Skylark, on every standby phase, is going to reborn any level 5 or lower monster from grave. That's actually really good. I think in the OCG, they've already been using this in stuff like Virtual World, so we'll see. Definitely has some utility there, though. And it's 2,700, gives itself some decent protection as well. Nice card. Antagonistic Intelligence, Miseiya. Weird card. In the Pendulum Zone, it says any card sent to the graveyard except for monsters are banished immediately. So versus Eldritch and stuff like that, this card's insane. It's a 0 scale, which is a pretty good scale. And it can summon itself from hand by adding a Pendulum monster from your hand or Pendulum Zone to the extra deck face up to get them out of the hand. So it's actually pretty easy to get them out of the hand as a 25 3k beater. And if your opponent... If any monster is summoned, normal or special summoned, while this card is on the field, you send that card to the graveyard during the end phase. That's not once per turn. It's almost like a Floodgate-esque effect. It's actually kind of interesting. I'm very curious if this card will actually be able to see play in a Pendulum deck, but we'll have to wait and see. Protecting Spirit Loageth, she's really cool. She can summon herself. Wait, no. If this... Oh, I'm sorry. She can... Let's see. If a fairy monster you control activates its effect... you can special summon this card from the hand. It can just target one face-up monster card your opponent controls. and an attack position monster you control, banish your opponent's card and then change this card to defense mode. So it's like removal, easy extender, just really nice for fairy decks, to be honest. Refined Ritual Art. This gives you the ability to ritual summon any ritual monster straight out of the deck. The only thing is you have to tribute a normal monster from hand with the exact level of the monster you're summoning. But there's worse things out there. I could definitely see this being part of certain combos to get certain ritual monsters that don't really have a great supporting cast of like a ritual spell and other cards to get to them. That could actually be nice. Synchro Overtake, you can reveal a Synchro monster extra deck and add to your hand or special summon one of the Synchro materials whose name is specifically listed on it from your deck or graveyard. So really cool, searches you certain tuners or non-tuners, I guess, if it's, as long as it's specifically listed on the Synchro monster. Usually this is only going to apply to stuff like certain Synchron decks, but that's actually nice because they really only want to Synchro summon, so that still works. Pendulum Treasure. This adds a pendulum monster from your deck or to your extra deck face up. That's actually decent if you have something that just like you want to get access to. And once you pen summon it, it's going to get you like a ton of value. Even though this is technically a -1, stuff face up in the extra deck for pendulum decks is almost like a resource. So it almost is like a 1-for-1. It's actually decent utility. I'll keep an eye on this for sure, definitely. Volneeg's the Black Lava Dragon. It's a rank 7, but if you make it with a dragon material, you can detach, or you can target one card on the field, detach 2 materials and destroy it as a quick effect. If you don't have a dragon, it's not a quick effect, but that's, you know, it could be decent. This is just a vanilla tuner, so it can be summoned off Retort Fusion. It's level 2 instead of like level 5, like Sea Monster Theseus is, so it could be something that you summon off of Retort Fusion. And then we finish up with this Counter Trap Stall Turn. Not a crazy card, but if a spell or trap or monster effect is activated that would negate the summon of a monster or a spell or trap card, you can banish the top 3 cards from your deck face down and then negate and shuffle that card into the deck. Not the best card in the world. Like, honestly, you have Judgment, but it doesn't pay life points, and if you know your opponent's playing something like that wants to negate a summon or negate a spell or trap, this card could be a decent like counter to something like that. So that's pretty much everything that matters. Anything that I didn't mention here is probably just filler that's really not that important to the set, to be honest. And so hopefully this helped you out. I know I just kind of just going through full force, just telling you everything, but hopefully this just gave you a quick, easy, like run through everything, tell you everything that's in here. And so you don't have to read a bunch of things, but give you an idea of what's in here so you can decide whether or not you want to pick up the set or just pick up some singles or not. That's up to you. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Hopefully you guys are excited for Dawn of Majesty. There's a couple things I'm excited for here. I don't think this is the best core set of all time, but I've already put my opinions out on that. I really think this is okay. But who knows? Maybe we'll see some crazy stuff from the reveals on Friday, and that will change my opinion somewhat on the set, because it definitely can. That's a 1/5 of the set. You can really have some crazy stuff in there. But yeah, we'll get to that as it comes. And thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for Friday when I review the cards that do get revealed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.